Hi, my name is Scott Kelly, and this is my older adult oral video presentation for Social Work 501, Human Behavior and Social Environment. The presentation is based on Erickson's biopsychosocial theory, which is 8 different life stages that one will experience through their lifetime and is based and will influence one's development from adolescence all the way until I would say late adulthood, elder age, up until death. Um, the stage I chose to focus on with my interviewee, who is named, I named him Jerry. He is 92 years old. He is a white male, basically spent most of his life middle class, very highly educated. He's got a couple papers, research papers he's working on still at his age. He's written several books, very different stages. I'd like to give you his name, but I can't. And he currently resides in a retirement assisted living facility very close to me. Um, the stage I've focused on, stage 6, is intimacy and isolation, and it's usually between late adolescence and early 40s. And during this stage, it's based on one trying to develop relationships with others, with peers, to prevent loneliness and isolation. There are two primary experiences that my interviewee had in early adulthood. The first one, he was heavily influenced by his environment. He was raised in a rural town with just him and his family. He was fairly socially isolated due to that, which he experienced a lot of social awkwardness due to this, and he's had a very hard time making connection with others, and he lacked relationships, which progressed into his early adulthood. The second one I focused on too is he's actually got two disabilities. One's dyslexia, and the other one is prognastasia. Dyslexia, which we know is he has problems understanding reading and writing. He describes it to me as words or letters drop out of words as he reads them. So, like an elephant, the P could drop out and it would look totally different to where we see it. It's always consistent. This can lead to poor psychosocial development and could impact one's emotional stability. The other one, prosopagnosia, is a congenital impairment, and it has to do with lack of being able to understand facial recognition. Um, he describes this to me as when we were talking, is he could see the outline of my face, my hair, but as you got closer in, I'd say like to my nose, like he couldn't make out my eyes or anything like that. And with these two combined conditions, they heavily influenced his early adulthood. Um, the first real challenge for Jerry was he was in college. His first few years, he told me. This is due to him being socially awkward, and it was also compounded by being dyslexic and not being able to understand memorizing facial people's faces. So it was ongoing for him on the social awkwardness. He did overcome this over time. I did ask him how he worked through that because he didn't actually see a psychologist or a therapist, all this. And he basically just said he didn't know and he just kind of wanted to be more social. So he kind of jumped out of his shell to some extent. His biggest um, challenge and accomplishment that he did say, and he takes much pride in it, is his education. He, even though he was dyslexic, he still progressed through school. Um, he was called stupid, quote, stupid, by several instructors early in his grade school and high school. But he did not let that get him down, and he progressed on to getting his bachelor's degree, which he did say he barely graduated, but he did, and that made him feel very successful. And he went on to complete his master's degree in industrial arts, which is he's got his bachelor's in, and he actually ended up earning high honors while earning his master's degree. And like I said before, he's also an author of 6 different books that he has written over time. The crisis that he was experiencing that I think was the most interesting was his social awkwardness. This really hindered him to connect with others. That was kind of compounded by his lack of facial recognition, because as he described to me, we meet, he says, "Hi, I'm Jerry." I say, "Hi, I'm Scott." And then most people, like myself, for the most part, would remember that. And he said that we could meet 3, 4 times and he still wouldn't recognize me. And as he said it, by that time, most people say, "Fine, I don't want to deal with you." And, so that really hindered him developing relationships, which, he did develop ways to cope with it. He focused really on, he could see people's bodies, and he really focused on voices, and could put the voice actually to the person, which was kind of like, we didn't really discuss it, but it was kind of like, I guess, being somewhat blind, you kind of connect to a voice to that actual person, which people in general can do too. So, um, so to get him out of his real social awkwardness, he really focused on school. Um, it was the big difference that he said shaped his life, even though it was very stressful and he was full of anxiety. Um, During his bachelor's, he still didn't get a lot of support because of him not wanting to come forth and letting instructors know that he was dyslexic. So again, that led to him barely earning his bachelor's degree. But again, after he got his bachelor's degree, he realized that he could be successful, and he kind of put his past back. And that's, besides him just wanting to do it, I think that was a very big push for him to break out of his shell and just kind of losing his social awkwardness to some extent.